something called the art of fighting without fighting.
Hi and welcome back to Kung Fu Shrimp. For today's video, I wanted to give Bruce a treat, as it's been quite a while since he's had to exercise his hunting instincts. But as you'll see, things didn't go entirely according to plan. I always try to give Bruce variety in the prey I offer him, so when I was in my local fish store and noticed a purple reef lobster lurking in the corner of one of their tanks, I knew it would make a perfect snack for Bruce. It's not something he's come up against before, and they're certainly capable of looking after themselves, so I thought it would provide a good challenge. Purple reef lobsters are a bit notorious in the hobby, as they're attractive critters and they're often seen for sale. This leads many inexperienced aquarists to add one to their tanks. This is often a costly choice, as these animals are voracious predators, and it's not long before people start noticing animals vanishing from their tanks. They do most of their hunting at night, so it often takes a bit of detective work before people figure out the lobster is to blame. So, to prevent a newbie from having to deal with the issue of a lobster assassin in their tank, I thought I'd snap him up and let Bruce deal with him. I've learned over time to make sure Bruce is hungry before adding these type of live prey items. In the past, when I've added things when he's been well fed, he'll often pay no attention to the critter, giving it time to disappear into the rockwork. This was certainly true recently when I added a fire shrimp for Bruce, and he didn't even deem it worthy of a look. I had assumed that Bruce had caught up with him off camera. However, when I had to move some of my rockwork the other day, I found him still lurking at the back of the tank. As far as I'm aware, he's still there. So, to make sure Bruce was ready for battle, I first added a few frozen Mantis Shrimp for Psycho the fish. As a rule of thumb, I assume if Bruce is hungry enough to come out and chase down a few tiny shrimp morsels, it's an indication that he's ready for something more substantial. And on cue, as soon as he caught a whiff of food in the tank, he was straight out to have a look. And I was happy he was ready for war.
Bruce versus Purple Lobster. Round 1. Fight!
As I added the lobster to the tank, he looked to be T-posing to try and assert dominance. But Bruce doesn't play that game and came straight out to meet him. There was a brief struggle, but the lobster quickly realised he was outmatched and made a run for it with Bruce in hot pursuit. After about 30 seconds, where I did hear a few strikes, Bruce reappeared empty-handed, and I started to think the lobster had managed to escape. Bruce didn't seem ready to give up the hunt though, and began searching his tank high and low for his missing meal. I must admit, at that point I thought it was a fruitless search, as I assumed the lobster would be safely hidden away in a crack somewhere. As I mentioned earlier, purple reef lobsters are not great tank inhabitants, so I began wondering if I was going to need to take the tank apart to get him out, or whether I'd just risk the other tank inhabitants and leave him in there. After a good 10 minutes of frantic searching, however, Bruce finally decided to go back and check the place where he saw him last. And lo and behold, after a few seconds, I started to hear repeated strikes. Now, over the years, I've got pretty good at identifying the sweet music that Bruce makes, and can generally tell the difference between a strike on rock, a strike to the glass, or a strike to his PVC tunnel. But these definitely sounded a bit meatier than any of those, as though the object he was striking had some give to it. This made me hopeful that he wasn't merely smashing rocks to try and get at the lobster, but that he was actually raining down blows directly on it. After a few more minutes, Bruce shot back into his tunnel, and I started to think I'd been mistaken. However, on reviewing back the footage, you can clearly see that Bruce is returning back to his lair with his meal in tow. So, we didn't get the greatest view of that fight, but at least Bruce got a tasty feed and a bit of exercise. I almost didn't bother uploading this video due to the shortness of the actual fight, but I do think it still showed some fascinating behaviour, and it's been quite a while since Bruce's last outing on YouTube, so I thought I'd upload it anyway. If you want a better view of Bruce's destructive power, I would recommend checking out when he went up against some emerald crabs, which was brutal, or his duel with the hermit crab that was also pretty epic. I'll put links to both videos in the description below. In other news, I've also just ordered Bruce's new tank, which is very exciting. I'm having it custom built to fit into an alcove in my lounge, and hopefully it'll provide a palace suitable for housing Bruce's magnificence. I'll definitely be doing a full video on this new setup once it arrives, so look out for that in the coming weeks. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching.